Hey guys, so this last week we talked about the Impressionist a little bit, and specifically we did a pointillism project of the Eiffel Tower, but I wanted to show you a little bit more detail about Impressionism and this artist right here, a French artist named Claude Monet, and he is known as the father of Impressionism. So I have this book that is just this, it's just a beautiful little book called Linnea in Monet's Garden, and I'm going to show you a few pictures from in the book. So here on the inside of the cover, as soon as you open up, you start to see the photograph of some of his water lily paintings. And if you look close, you can tell that there's not a lot of detail, but Monet just painted the impression of the water lilies floating on the pond, and he painted them at all different seasons and all different times of day. So this one you can see kind of a pinky purple reflection in the sky, or in the water that's reflecting the sky. So that was probably a morning or an evening painting. I'll show you a few more from here. Oh, here's another photograph of Monet. He was a cool looking dude. And then here is an actual picture photograph from his pond at his home outside of Paris. And he loved to go outside of his own house and paint. And he had beautiful, beautiful gardens. You actually, if we could all fly over to France, we could go visit Monet's home. So here's another, and I can't get it all in the camera, but this is a round painting that he did, another water lily painting. Oh, I should show you this page. So this is a little bridge that's at his home, and he painted it again at different seasons, different times of day. We'll come back to that last one. When he was an older man, he started to lose his vision, and he kept painting even though he had a really hard time even identifying the colors and things. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I wanted to show you. So here's a close-up of one of the water lily paintings. And what I want you to notice is the shape of these water lilies. So we talked about this just a little bit in class, that we know that the water lilies essentially are round, but when we look at them out off in the distance floating in the water, we don't see it as a circle. We see it more as an oval shape. So we're gonna talk about that when we start our drawing. And here's a really close up of one of the water lilies. And you can see that he's not carefully painting every single petal on the flower. He's putting down the colors that he sees. And up close, it's a bit messy, but from a distance, it is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we're going to use our colored pencils, and let's make sure I get it in the frame here. And I just would like you guys, if you have time, to do this in your little sketchbook. And how I think about the water lilies, I think about them as being, here, I'll bring it over here. I think about, excuse me, them as being more like heart-shaped. So when I sketch them in, I'm going to make it, some of them kind of like a flattened out heart-shaped. So we have like C-curve, C-curve, and then a bit bigger backwards C-curve. And I'm gonna make some of my water lilies just our flattened out oval shape. And also, I want some of my water lilies to kind of overlap each other. Because if you ever go look at them in a pond, they will kind of scooch underneath each other and overlap. Sometimes you'll have big water lilies right next to little baby water lilies, so it's good to have different sizes. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So we want some of them to touch and maybe some of them to be a bit further away and not touch. I'm gonna put one up here. Okay, and I'm just using my pencil here. I'm gonna sketch in a little bowl shape, really light with my pencil, and I'm just putting those where I'm gonna want my actual lily flowers to be. Okay, so I think now we're ready to start with some colored pencil. And you could make your water really any kind of color that you want, because you could certainly do blue or blues and greens for your water, but you also, if you think about the sunset or a sunrise hitting the water, it might look more purple or even orange or red. So you really can't go wrong. I think I'm going to use like this teal blue color. It's light blue. And I'm going to start by putting in some of my water. But I'm going to be careful not to color over top of where I want my lilies to be. That's colored pencil. If we do it really dark on our paper and then try to go really light over top of it, it doesn't work so well. So I'm going to keep away from the flowers because I'm going to want them to be lighter colored. And I'm going to mix in another color of blue. So I'll come back and finish my water at the end, but I'm just getting in a little bit of color. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna use kind of a pink color first, and I'm gonna press kind of hard over my pencil marks. Probably should have erased those. Let's see. Or at least erased a little bit of them, of the pencil lines, and make sure they're really light. So for my first layer, I'm just coloring in my water lilies like a little cup or a little bowl with some raggedy points coming up out of the top. That's going to represent the petals. And then I'm going to take my red and kind of make some darker places in the middle, because I'm trying to recreate a little bit of that, the brush strokes, like if I was painting these, that would be there. So I'm thinking about moving my pencil, kind of like a paintbrush. Okay. Then I'm gonna smudge over my flowers with my white colored pencil. If you don't have a white colored pencil, you could use like your really light yellow to do this, and it still would be pretty. Okay, I'm gonna switch and start putting in the green for my lily pads. Oh, that's bright green. When I start putting in the green, then it makes my flowers pop out better. Get this big guy back here. Okay. Goodness. Okay, I'm gonna get my little bit darker green. And I don't remember, I know you guys have the Blick colored pencils, but I can't remember what all colors are in that set. So if you don't have a light green and a dark green to use on your lily pads, you can use green and then use like your dark blue to add some shadowy spots under your lily pads so that they're not just all flat green, the same color green. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so for adding a teeny bit more detail, I'm going to use my dark blue and I'm going to come underneath my little, wherever I have a water lily, and I'm going to add, I'm just going to kind of outline the bottom of it, the cup, and do a little smudge of that dark blue underneath the water lily. And what that does is it kind of gives it a little attached area to the lily pad, so it doesn't look like they're just hovering or floating above the lily pad. It actually makes it sit on the lily pad. And then I'm going to use that same dark blue and I'm going to go along the bottom edges of my lily pads too. And if I make a little, have a little notch area in my lily pad, I might add a little dark blue. So it just is going to help all of my little lily pads and the lilies to look like they're sitting right down on top of the water and not just kind of hovering above the water. But our darker colors are good for that. Okay, well, there you go. And you wouldn't have to do pink water lilies either. You could do little yellow water lilies, would work really nice, and use your yellow and your orange. So you have some options, and I hope you have fun with that.